Today, we're going to talk about some very basic anger management techniques, gain a better understanding of what anger is and is not, and we're also going to talk about how we can use our anger to tap into our power and do some good. Warning, what you're about to see, a fight between a grown shirtless man and what appears to be a giant inflatable swan, is disturbing. You may be asking yourself, what the hell is going on here? Well, a while back, some buddies and I rented a place on the beach down in Mexico, and we were just peacefully enjoying ourselves. That was until this shit-talking inflatable swan showed up. Turns out, he was drunk and belligerent and thought that my buddy had been hitting on his girlfriend. My buddy did his best to defuse the situation and set a boundary, but eventually, it was necessary for him to defend himself against the swan. Things got ugly, and my buddy decided to tune him up a bit and skillfully help the swan see the errors of his ways. I'm going to stop the clip right there so you don't get too traumatized. So what did we just witness? I don't really know, but the bigger questions are, is anger bad, and is it possible to use anger to become more powerful? Like many guys, I grew up thinking that anger was bad. I thought anger was stupid or beneath me. I thought if I'd gotten angry, I was going to just hurt somebody or make an even bigger mess. I believed if I was angry, I would push other people away. So I learned how to stuff it down, and the cost of doing this was that when I did get angry, I felt powerless to do anything about it. I felt damned if I do, damned if I don't. One time, I was struggling with a low-energy, depressed feeling. I felt like I'd lost my fire or my mojo. So I went and drove up into the mountains to work with this guy who does therapy. He does therapy using horses. So I get into the pen with these huge horses, and they start doing their thing. They start reacting to me. And the therapist looks at me and he says, "What the hell are you so angry about?" And I was shocked. I was like, "Angry? I'm not angry." I was angry. A while back, I had Robert Augustus Masters on the New Man podcast, and we talked about anger. And I loved this talk, and I wish that I had heard it when I was a much younger man. He said, anger is natural. It's a healthy human response that's necessary for us to set boundaries and to combat injustice. He said the problem most of us face is that we often confuse anger with aggression. Anger is a feeling, it's an emotion. Aggression is acting out. It's an effort to diminish others. It's an effort to hurt others, to take them down, or even worse, when we're emotionally or physically abusive. So we can be angry and still be compassionate. For example, think of a small child that goes running out into the street. We care so much for that child that we're going to be forceful, we're going to be loud, we're going to get excited. And we can do this without calling names or hitting or shaming. But with aggression, we lose that compassion and we want to hurt or attack that other person. So let's talk about how anger can help us tap into greater power. I like to think of anger as smoke. It's not the fire. Even though it's associated with fire, it's not the fire. It's not the source of what's really going on. It's just a display. It's a screen. So that leaves us with the question, what's the fire? When we're angry, that means we're really feeling some combination of fear, hurt, disappointment, or deep concern. And those are typically pretty vulnerable feelings, which is why we want to armor up and toughen up and show our anger instead. That actually feels safer. So what can we do to address the fire instead of getting lost in the smoke? If we find ourselves being aggressive, like where we're wanting to attack or hurt someone, we can recognize the opportunity to turn it back into anger. Now, this takes awareness, and if you needed yet another good reason to take up a regular meditation practice, you just got one. So instead of attacking others or pushing the anger away or trying to numb ourselves or distract ourselves, we can take a minute to really feel it in our bodies, really feel all of that energy within our bodies. And instead of saying something mean to someone else, we can tell the truth about how we're feeling, like, damn it, I'm really angry right now. I'm really pissed off. We can find safe ways to move that energy, to move our bodies and get this stuff out. We can go for a walk. I know in our house we have pillows and padded bats, and we just go to town on that stuff whenever we're pissed off. But like a kid that's throwing a tantrum, getting angry may feel good. We may feel righteous and powerful, but just being angry by itself isn't going to change anything. It's not where the real power is. It's not where we can take responsibility. So after we've calmed down a bit, then we can start to shift our focus to the fire that's underneath the smoke. We get to get curious. We can ask ourselves, what's scaring me? What's the thing that I really want that I'm not getting? And this is where we can go from being someone who feels ineffective, as if the only response we have is to attack like we're a cornered animal. This is where we can step into becoming someone who can speak up and create what they want. Now, this process isn't easy. It's messy, but it is the path. It is how we stop wasting our lives blaming and criticizing or getting stuck in pissing matches and power struggles. This is how we start addressing what really matters head on. We don't have to be like most of the folks on this planet who are stuck in some form of drama. We don't have to be victims to our emotional world. We can learn to use anger as a tool to help us clarify and create what we really want. If you're watching this video, it means you want something, and it doesn't matter what you want. It could be more money, a career that aligns with your values, a better sex life, more meaningful relationships, a loving family. Everything you want is going to depend on how you deal with resistance. And most guys are going to procrastinate. They're going to stick their head in the sand, and they're going to make excuses. And a few badasses will learn how to cut right through resistance. Over the last 10 years, I've coached entrepreneurs, influencers, startup founders, even a Navy SEAL sniper. And I've learned why some people will create what they truly want and why most guys are just on track to become pissy old men. I share these practical, powerful lessons in a new video micro course that's free and available right now. Just visit thenewmanpodcast.com. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe, and thanks for watching.